Hey there, welcome back to the Deep Dive. It's great to have you with us.
It is.
Today we're looking at a city that I think is often a little misunderstood.
I'd agree with that.
It's a place that a lot of people treat as just a weekend getaway, a quick stop to buy some silk and look at a big palace.
Right, the classic day trip from Bangalore.
But when you actually start peeling back the layers of the archives, you find something so much more complex. We're heading to South India, to the cultural capital of Karnataka.
Mysore.
Or Mysore, to be official. And you're so right about that reputation. But when we dug into the source stack for this, the architectural histories, the conservation reports from the zoo, even anthropological notes on the festivals, it just became so clear.
Yeah.
Mysore isn't just a tourist stop. It's this living laboratory where tradition and modernity are kind of constantly crashing into each other.
That is the mission today. We want to understand how a city that's so obsessed with its past, with its kings and goddesses and demons, how it actually functions in 2026. And we've got sources on everything from alleged poison plots in the zoo to the geopolitics of yoga. It's a wild mix.
So let's start with the big one, the visual that everyone knows, the Mysore Palace. The Amba Vilas. I was looking at the visitor numbers in our notes, and it's just staggering.
It is. What was it?
2.7 million people a year. That puts it right behind the Taj Mahal.
It's the absolute anchor of the city. But the really fascinating thing about the palace is that it's actually a bit of an imposter. Or maybe Phoenix is a better word.
Because the original one burned down, right? I read that it happened during a
wedding, exactly. And the story is just, it's cinematic. It was 1897. The royal family is celebrating the wedding of the eldest princess, Jaya Lakshmani. You have all the pomp, the ceremony, these huge wooden structures everywhere, and then disaster. The whole wooden palace just catches fire and burns completely to the ground.
Talk about a bad omen for a marriage.
Truly. But, this disaster gave the Wodeyar dynasty a blank canvas. They didn't just rebuild the old wooden thing. They went and commissioned a British architect, Henry Irwin, and told him to build something fireproof and, more importantly, something that really made a statement.
And that statement is this style called Indo-Saracenic. Now, I see this term in architectural guides all the time, but break it down for us. What are we actually looking at?
Okay, so think of Indo-Saracenic as the architectural version of a greatest hits album of the British Empire.
Ah, okay.
The British wanted to show they were the successors to both the Mughals and the Hindu kings. So Henry Irwin basically just mashed it all together. You've got Hindu pillars, Islamic domes, Gothic arches from Europe, and Rajput-style windows.
It sounds like it should be a complete disaster, like wearing plaid with stripes.
It really does, but somehow Irwin made it harmonize. When you stand there and you see those pink marble domes and that huge 145-foot tower, it all feels cohesive. It's a symbol of this very cosmopolitan worldview that existed way back in 1912.
And the inside scene's just as eclectic. I was reading about the Kalyana Mandapa, the wedding hall.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a Scottish design glass ceiling, these classic Indian peacock motifs, and then floor tiles that were imported from England.
It's a global scavenger hunt in a single room. But for me, the most telling detail isn't even the architecture, it's the tech. When they rebuilt this so-called traditional palace, they wired it for electricity from day one.
Which, of course, leads to the famous illumination.
Right. Nearly 100,000 bulbs every Sunday night, 7 to 10 p.m. It creates this absolute iconic silhouette. But there's one artifact inside that palace that really connects the building to the culture. The howdah.
The golden elephant saddle.
Yes, it's in the Gombitori, the doll pavilion. And this thing is solid gold. We're talking 84 kilograms of it.
84 kilos. I can't even get my head around the weight of that, just sitting on an animal's back.
Well, historically, yes. And that brings us right to the heartbeat of the city, the Dasara festival.
The Natahaba. This is where all the mythology of the city just comes alive. So, Mysore gets its name from Mahishasura, a buffalo demon.
Right.
And the legend says the goddess Chamundeshwari killed him on top of the hill that overlooks the city.
So wait, the city is named after the bad guy?
In a way, yeah. It's Mahishur, the town of Mahisha. And Dasara is the festival that celebrates the goddess's victory over him. It's this 10-day spectacle that ends with the Jambu Savari.
The elephant procession. This is the image that most people have. The decorated elephants, the crowds, the dust everywhere.
Totally.
The idol of the goddess is placed inside a 750-kilogram golden mantapa, which is then mounted on a lead elephant, and they march all the way from the palace to the Banniman Tap grounds.
It's visually incredible. And there's this ritual where the royals worship the Bani tree, which ties back to the Mahabharata, the idea that the Pandavas hid their weapons there during exile. So it connects the current royal family to these epic heroes.
But, and here is where our deep dive gets a bit thorny, we can't really talk about elephant processions in the 2020s without talking about the ethics.
No, you can't.
The sources we pulled had a lot of material on the backlash against this very tradition.
This is the real so what of the episode.
That's it.
How do you maintain a 400-year-old ritual when modern values have completely shifted? There was a leaked video, I think back in 2018, that showed an elephant swaying in distress during his training. It went viral.
And it's not just videos. There have been deaths. Our sources mention specific elephants, Ranga and Gajendra, and incidents where mahouts, the handlers, were actually killed. It seems like every single year there's this debate. Should we stop using live animals?
It's a huge conflict. On one side, you have heritage and this deep religious sentiment that says it has to be an elephant. On the other side, activists are saying this is cruelty and it's dangerous.
And the festival is a lightning rod for politics, too, not just animal rights. Did you see the note about the 2025 inauguration controversy?
I did. Banu Mushtaq, a prominent writer, a Booker Prize laureate. The government invited her to inaugurate Dasara, and people just lost their minds.
Right, because she had previously criticized the deification of the Kannada language, so petitioners went to court. They argued that because Dasara is a Hindu festival, her views made her, incompatible.
But the courts upheld the invitation.
They did, and that's so important. It shows that Mysore creates this space where religion, literature, and modern secular laws are all forced to duke it out. It's not some quiet, sleepy city. It's an intellectual battleground.
It really is. Like the city is constantly negotiating with itself. Speaking of quiet focus, though, let's pivot away from the noise of the procession to the quiet of an artist's studio.
Okay.
Because Mysore is also a factory for very specific kinds of art. The Mysore style of painting.
This is a direct offshoot of the fall of the Vijayanagara Empire. When that empire collapsed back in the 16th century, all these artists migrated to Mysore looking for royal patronage.
I always confuse Mysore paintings with Tanjore paintings. They both use gold leaf, don't they? So how do you tell them apart?
They do both use gold. But think of Tanjore paintings as like the loud, extroverted cousin.
Okay, huh?
They use glass beads, precious stones, really vivid colors. Mysore paintings are the introverted, more subtle cousin.
So less bling, more fine detail.
Exactly. They use these beautiful muted pastels. The gold leaf is much thinner. And the relief work, the gesso, it's much lower. It's all about delicate line work. And there's a spiritual side to the whole process.
The opening of the eyes.
Yes. The very last thing the artist does is paint the eyes of the deity. The belief is that once the eyes are painted, the image is no longer just pout and paper. It has prana, life force. It becomes a literal object of worship.
That's a beautiful concept. That one final brushstroke completely changes what the object is.
It does, and that same dedication to detail, it carries over to the other big export, silk.
Mysore silk, the KSEF factory.
Established in 1912,